State Farm has stopped accepting homeowner insurance applications in California. This isn't just any old insurance company stopping business in California. This is the largest insurance company for homeowners insurance in California, saying we're no longer writing policies. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, how it might affect you, and what you can do going forward. Stay tuned. All right, Matt, the mortgage guy, residential mortgage broker, licensed in 48 states, powered by You Mortgage. In today's video, I'm talking homeowners insurance, and as a mortgage broker who deals with real estate transactions day in and day out, the homeowners insurance piece is an important one. So I stay pretty close with my favorite insurance guy who's an insurance broker. I try to figure out what's going on, especially when a majority of the business we write is in California. We've seen the effects of wildfires and natural disasters to premiums, which affect our clients' mortgage payments. So it is intertwined, right? So let's first read this article that came out today, and then I'll tell you my conversation I had with my favorite insurance broker and some of the things that you can do if you're in the market for homeowners insurance and realize that in California it's getting harder to get and it's more expensive. So let's check the article. State Farm has stopped accepting homeowners insurance applications in California, which is big news because, like I said, they're not just any old insurance company. They're the largest. They were doing the most homeowners insurance in California, citing the growing risk from catastrophes like wildfires and the rising cost to rebuild. Sorry, I can't talk today. State Farm General Insurance Company made this decision due to historic increases in construction costs, outpacing inflation, rapidly growing catastrophic exposure, and a challenging reinsurance market. When I read this, I was like, what is the reinsurance market? So I asked my favorite insurance broker. The reinsurance market is basically when the writers of these policies go to the Department of Insurance. They have to get approved to increase their cost to the consumer. And the Department of Insurance can say, no, you can't increase it that much. You can only increase it this much. Or like my insurance broker buddy said, sometimes they just take forever to respond. And so as there's more exposure, as there's more cost to the insurance company, and they're delayed in being able to pass that cost on to the consumer, it's simple business, right? If you've got more in claims, if it costs more to rebuild a house once it's burned down, if your costs increase as a business, you have to increase your prices. If you're paying $3 for a burger patty and it went up to $5 and you kept the menu price the same, that would shrink profits for your burger business. The same thing happens in almost all businesses, right? And so in this specific business of insurance, you can't just go out there and increase your prices by 30% because you saw a 30% uptick in your cost. You have to run it through the Department of Insurance. And from what I hear, this challenge that is cited in this article is that they're not granting these insurance increases, or they're not granting them fast enough. So let's move on. It's necessary to take these actions now to improve the company's financial strength. Still doing annuities, still doing auto insurance, not doing the homeowners because they don't see it as profitable, right? And like I said, according to this Insurance Information Institute, State Farm was the leading company offering home insurance in California. I'll get to it later on where you've still got plenty of good options, some better than before actually, but State Farm no longer. This went into effect on Saturday. Saturday was May 27th, 2023. It applies to both personal and business properties. It will continue to serve existing customers as well as offer personal auto insurance. This is the latest development. It has been a years-long issue in California. Insurance companies dropping homeowners because of the growing risk of wildfires. I can tell you as somebody who writes loans in California and has to look at the homeowners insurance policies for my buyers, these costs have gone up astronomically, especially if you're in a high fire area. They've got separate policies, California Fair Plan that has to go on top of your general homeowners insurance policy. And so people might find an area that's more remote and say, well, I can buy a home here for only 300 grand versus 5 or 600 in this area. But then you go and add 4,000, 5,000. I've seen $7, $8, $10,000 a year for homeowners insurance. That payment, you don't see the savings from paying half for the house anymore. So it's been a problem. There's a lot of areas, quite honestly, in the foothills in California where it's actually causing a lot of harm to people on fixed incomes. As you can imagine, if you're on a fixed income and you've got a paid off house and you pay a few $100s per month, a couple $1,000s a year in property taxes, and your cost might have been $1,000, $1,500 a year in fire insurance, homeowners insurance. If that cost quadruples in a 2 or 3 year period and you're on a fixed income, that's going to be a problem. So it's been a problem. Here in this article, the Camp Fire is mentioned. That's from 2018, destroyed 11,000 homes. Once this stuff happens, insurance companies have to kind of reevaluate, reprice. And so over the last 5 years, there's been all kinds of issues with insurance company. Like the article saying, they've seen huge losses. That makes premiums go up. That makes it harder and harder to get insurance. From the insurance brokers I work with, less and less companies want to deal in California. I would imagine because of the uncertainty, right? You've got this high risk of huge claims and huge wildfires. And if you're limited on how much you can charge in premium because of the Department of Insurance and because of probably competition, then it's a big gamble. California officials has attempted to minimize such efforts by temporarily barring insurers from dropping customers in areas hit by wildfires and directing insurance companies to provide discounts. I mean, this is why insurance companies are going to leave, right? Like if the Department of Insurance is like, you can't drop a customer, you have to provide a discount, but yet there's more claims, more fires, and the cost of construction is higher because of inflation and lumber costs. Like it just makes it to where it's not a good state to do business in. So as wildfires rage on the state, so is the issue of insurance affordability and availability. I know quite a few insurance brokers have told me that California is the hardest state to do business in, and has the least amount of carriers wanting to write business there. What can you do as a consumer? And I think first and foremost, you have to be working with an insurance broker, similar to a mortgage broker who has multiple different companies they can place your loan with, multiple different options for you and your scenario, based on if you've got a 620 credit score, 800 credit score, 3% down, 30% down, investment property, primary residence. There's a lot of different types of mortgages out there, a lot of different types of borrowers and borrower types out there. We match you to the lender that best suits your needs, right? Same thing for insurance. You come to them, you've got a specific type of property in a specific area, you need specific coverage. The best insurance brokers, like my buddy Javier, is going to find you the best policy for you. And a good broker has got multiple different companies there approved to do business with. Javier just told me he added some. I'll leave Javier and his company's information in the description to this video, because he doesn't mind if you reach out personally. Whether you're doing business with us or not, if you want an insurance quote and you need to find a broker who's got options for you, Javier and his team are great. So didn't intend this to be a commercial for Javier, but they've done such a great job for us for so long that I don't mind doing it. So again, insurance, California, it's tough. Companies are changing their mapping, changing their flood lines. I've heard that AI has had an impact on it because there's aerial inspections. And so that's causing some problems for some carriers where, a lot of things have to be double, triple checked, and not as easy as it once was. You need to work with a professional. Anyhow, Javier, his information will be down below. If you want to connect me and my team, greatmortgagebroker.com. That's where you find us. If you want to connect with a realtor anywhere in the country, homeandmoney.com/Matt. If you're looking to connect with a realtor in California, just hit up our team at mtmg.com, and we'll connect you there. Thanks for watching.